Welcome to Let's Be Frank. Am I recording? I am. Welcome to Let's Be Frank. Over to Herman.
What? Yeah. Goodness.
Goodness. Gracious me.
Yes. I've been thinking about, we've been very aware of where I see change in behavior. And also thinking about and having a conversation about habits and how do we form habits.
Old habits die hard.
And old habits die hard, and there's all of that. Some people say to change a habit or to form a new habit takes 21 days. Some say no, it's longer than that. It's 60 something days. And then there are those that says it takes an instant. Means making a decision and a commitment.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of all of those things are probably true to some degree.
Yeah.
But I do see changes in behavior, and you watch that over time, and you wonder about that, whether that's your own behavior or other people's
Positive
behavior.
or negative. Both.
Positive or negative. I think I've been focusing more on the negative. No, I've been pretty aware of the positive as well.
Yeah. I think it's just generally it's easier to see negative things than to acknowledge positive things.
About yourself, about
everything,
people.
about the world, I think it's just so much easier to pick out the negative than it is to look at the positive. So it almost takes a conscious decision to look for positive.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty well tuned in to look for the positives as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I'm thinking about and I'm wondering about kind of what contributes to these changes in behavior. Is it because of the comfort zone that we settle into?
Yeah.
Is it because of peer pressure or just kind of the environment that we're in? You know, there's so many subjects that come to mind when you start thinking about that.
Yeah. The fear of change or the unknown. That's the same as the comfort thing.
Yeah. Which I don't believe is true. I don't think that people fear change.
We've spoken about that before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's almost a natural thing, the change.
Yes. So I think so motivation is the other thing that come to mind. If you're motivated enough, then will it be easier to build a new habit or to maintain a good habit?
Yeah, well, you hear of the people that lose weight when they're getting ready for their wedding or whatever. Then you have a very specific target in mind, and it seems much easier to do it when you know what that end goal is. We've also spoken about that before. So understanding what that end goal is and making sure we're on the same page about the end goal and all buy into it. Then I suppose the motivation is easier to find. Do you disagree with me? Looks like you do.
No, I just don't think it's safe to kind of explore that losing weight for your wedding is a good thing. Because the first question that came up was, well, okay, cool. What do they look like a month after the wedding or 6 months after the wedding? Or But yes, I think you if there is enough motivation.
Yeah.
So what is motivation?
Well, it's going to be different for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, but how would you define motivation?
Well, I suppose it's a compelling enough reason to want to achieve that goal. But it's very personal, I would think. Motivation is very personal. I don't think you can have like group motivation.
I don't know.
Because we all have different drivers and different things that excite us. And is there anything that's universal in terms of something like that?
So I think you can have group motivation if you think of any team sport.
Yeah, but those individuals are all have the same driver. Then they want to be successful within the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can bring that back into our own environment in terms of our teams.
Mm. So then we need to define what a win is, or what the end goal is for the entire team.
I think there are also different layers of motivation. I mean, the team can be motivated, but the individuals in the team must be motivated.
Yeah.
And often that motivation could be slightly different to what the team motivation is. But there's great value, I think, in harnessing that group motivation or team motivation. And I think also the individual motivation can help and benefit.
Yeah. So that's, we've always spoken about how a team is made up of individuals. So there is obviously a level of understanding you have to have on that human level, the person-to-person level, as well as the team. You can't paint everyone with the same brush, I suppose.
No.
Yeah.
And what we're hoping for is that that those who are more motivated, etc., will kind of
lift the others.
Lift the others.
Well, that's that whole concept of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Yeah.
But then you have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
You have to actively seek that out.
Yeah.
How often do you see that the opposite happens? That people stick around the same group of people and are kind of dragged down.
Yeah.
Complaining and bitching but not making the change that's necessary or required.
Yeah. Well, that comes back to our hiring process and our, the types of people that we have at FiveFriday, the A players. Because if we're hiring A players, which is our strategy, which is our idea, then we should be quite confident that all of the people are going to lift each other up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we are very fortunate in terms of our team and our people, by and large. I mean, we unfortunately don't get it right all the time. And
does anyone?
Does anyone?
Yeah.
But I also think that people change.
Yeah.
From the time that you hire them, I mean, there are lots of reasons why that can happen. Whether it's 6 months later, or whether it's a year later, whatever, people's circumstances change, their lives change, etc. And that unfortunately sometimes cause people to no longer be an A player. They're few and far between, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But then I also sometimes, and this is kind of where I am at the moment, I believe that there is certain behavior that kind of becomes the group behavior for whatever reason. And I'm still trying to figure that out. But behavior becomes the group behavior, which is not intentionally malicious or not intentionally malicious, but it's kind of get the sense that we are just on cruise control.
Yeah, comfortable.
Yeah, too comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that happens in our personal lives as well. So, I mean, the example that come to mind is kind of the workshop and the baseline, and post that for a week, 2 weeks, a month after that, there was people were so aware of the changes that they have to make in terms of their baseline and so on. And you look at that now, it's kind of a question that I have is how are we doing against that individually? Because it's very much an individual aspect that we're talking about. It's not something that we can enforce or want to enforce. But how are we doing against that? Has anyone made significant changes and stuck to it?
I can pick out 1 or 2 people that definitely have.
That's great. It's good to know that there are people that have done that.
Yeah.
1 or 2, so that would equate to 10%. Why has the other 90% not made those changes? Why do we, and I'm using this as an example.
Yeah.
You see people doing things, and I'm not just, and I'm generalizing now, I'm not talking about any of our team, but you see people engaging in behavior that that is not optimal or good for them. And yet they themselves know and acknowledge, but they continue in that same behavior.
It's just about me eating fast food.
No, not at all.
Yeah. That is a habit that I really struggle to break, personally. It's quick, it's convenient, pulls you up for an hour or 2.
So no, like I said, I'm really generalizing here.
Yeah.
But just on that, I mean, those are all the bullshit reasons that you tell yourself to justify and rationalize why you're doing that.
And I do think, I've never been a smoker, but I do think it's kind of like smoking. You hear so many people say that you cannot just, you can't wean yourself off smoking. You can't go to fewer cigarettes a day and then less and then this and that. That's not the way to quit smoking. It's make the decision and stop smoking. And I think that's probably similar for me with fast food. Is I've thought, I'll eat less fast food and then get to a point where I don't even have 1 a week. But I think it's one of those things where I just have to be firm about it and be like, no more.
I don't know, I don't know what the answer is to any of those things, I think it's about the motivation. I think it's what is the motivation? What is the compelling reason? For somebody to do something. And whether that will motivate you to stick with it, Is it are we too focused on the instant gratification, in the short term, and not focused enough on the long term? Whether that is the smoking or the fast food,
losing weight for your wedding.
That shouldn't be a goal. I mean, that's a real. Well, that's a stupid goal. But whatever that is, whether it is, I don't know, learning a new skill, traveling, I don't know, just being the best possible version of yourself. What are the things that you have to do? So I think with a lot of these things, this is because we believe we have time. I can put it off until tomorrow, so procrastination comes into this, etc. You'll find it's very valid reasons. Well, you'll rationalize it as very valid reasons.
Yeah.
They're not really.
But again, it depends what your motivation is. Because I also think I'm at a point in my life where if something is going to make me happy now, the instant gratification, I will make that decision with myself. Is it going to really hurt me tomorrow? Or is the happiness I'm going to get from doing this thing right now going to trump whatever the long-term effects are? Because like you say, you don't have a lot of time. So what makes you happy today? What makes you happy right now? I do that a lot with money. People in the office know I'm not very good with money. And if I want something, and I'll always ask myself the question, is spending this money now, is the happiness I'm going to get from that worth more than I'm going to struggle a little bit at the end of the month? And if I think the answer to that is yes, then I pay credit card details in, pay now. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's how I've chosen to live, and that it works for me.
And if that works for you, I mean,
Yeah.
those are your decisions.
Yeah.
Those are your.
So I think it's about being comfortable with the decisions that you make, and with there are going to be circumstances for whatever action you make, and are you comfortable with living with those consequences of your actions?
But then most of the time we're not. We use it to rationalize in the moment now, and this is why I'm going to spend that money on whatever, or eat the fast food, or smoke the next cigarette, or I don't know, whatever it is. But can you relate to an instance or an event where you go, I know that's how I rationalize, but that was the wrong mistake, or that was the wrong decision to make, thinking back. Because hindsight,
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm generally quite comfortable with living with the consequences of the actions that I make. I feel like I'm adult enough to make a decision and know that there could be negative consequences. And in that moment, I can foresee what those might be, but I'll go, you know what, I'm comfortable with that. If that's the worst that can happen, I can live with that.
So that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, there are things, we also say, like, we all think we have time. And there's the other side of the coin that maybe we do have more time than we think we have. And if you're not preparing for that amount of future, if you're not ready for that, then maybe you're making some bad decisions now because you think, oh, life is short, live in the moment.
Yeah, so we definitely want to live in the moment, but it's complicated in terms of all of these different things that you have to consider. Like you said, you may, even without consciously thinking about it, you may have a certain life expectancy in mind.
Yeah.
I think
well,
we
retirement
spoke about that
age
as well,
is 65.
that is, which is why,
Yeah.
It's like when you mentioned a couple of weeks ago about 9,000 steps a day. Where the hell does that come from? Why is anyway? So there's so many facets. I just think that if you make decisions, you kind of look at what is my motivation. Is that to be the best version of yourself? Not anybody else's definition, but your the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make a lot of these decisions based on that. I think it gives you a little bit of clarity in terms of short-term gratification versus long-term, and a whole host of other things. I don't think that enough people pay attention to that. Pay enough attention to the decisions that they make and the choices that they make on a daily basis.
Yeah.
To actually be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
What really annoys me about that is people have this unrealistic view of themselves.
Yeah. I think that's where that end goal comes in. What is the best version of yourself? Because I'm sure people don't know what that is.
Is it something that you can know? Was it just something that you aspire to and work towards every day? And can it change? Yeah, I think it can change over time. But often I hear people complain about things. And I look at the choices that they make, and it frustrates me. I can't imagine how can you be upset or complain about this when you have made the following decisions that are actually responsible for the situation that you're in.
Well, I think people are very quick to find blame elsewhere rather than looking at themselves and their own part that they've played in their situation.
Of course.
It's very easy to say, oh, it's because of this, because of that, because of, Yeah.
But we shouldn't hide behind that.
No.
I'm going to start calling out people on that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also a challenge, is to start looking at yourself when things don't go the way you thought that they would or should.
Look, the reality is that life is not doesn't always work out in the way that we plan.
Yeah.
We have to accept that and be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But we have the ability to make choices at kind of every single day. We have the ability to make choices. Every second of every day we have the ability to make choices.
Yeah.
It's not a question of I decided today that this is what I'm going to do and I have to stick to it until the end of the day. I can change it now. And the same with any of your plan. I mean, any of the plans that you make.
Yeah.
But I do want to start calling out people, and I want to be called out. If in any way I use excuses that is not congruent with the decisions that I made and the actions that I take.
Yeah. It's a good challenge.
It's a good challenge.
Did everyone hear that? You have to call Herman out.
Please, but it's a two-way street.
Give and take.
So expect to be called out as well.
Cool. So, not sure what the name of this podcast is. We'll come up with it in a minute. But thank you for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.